Well, hi, welcome back to Living with Autism. We're here in our new surroundings, in our new environment, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different, a little new in that way. And I hope that it helps give you an even better insight into what it means, what life can be like for an autistic person. So I hope you stay tuned for that. Well, welcome back once again. We're here, and as I said, we're in our new area. We're here in Idaho, actually staying with my wife's cousin. She's been incredibly gracious in helping us as we figure out what we're doing, where we're going to be, and we're doing something different today, like I said. And I thought about it before, different things, and this might be a little bit more vlogish in some ways than what I'm normally used to doing. And I'm a little hesitant to do that in some ways. I don't know, does anybody care necessarily about the details of my life or things like that? But I think by sharing in a little bit different way, I think I can give you a better insight into what it can be like being an autistic person, the struggles that I face, and maybe a lot of the struggles are not so different from what a lot of us face, but just kind of sharing about what's going on. And so that's what I want to do today, and here we are. I don't know how much recording, or editing I'm going to do. I don't know how comfortable I'm going to be watching this back. I hope to present something to you that's great with the lighting, with everything. But I'm recording here for a couple of reasons. One, I've shared before, but I have to do it. My wife said with everything going on, it was a real struggle. Realized that today is when the one time I can really record. We have stuff going on, and in order to get things recorded and edited and uploaded and ready to go by Friday morning, it's Tuesday right now, and because Thursday I don't really have time and things going on, this is when I have to do it. And so my wife was kind of like, well, you could just not record. And I think I shared before, if I did that, I don't think I would ever come back to this. And this is something that's really hard. It's really interesting because I started this, I don't know why I started this. It was in my heart, I'm not starting this to gain a following, a bunch of people that, that to be a celebrity, let's say that. I didn't do it to necessarily help myself, even though I knew it would be a help to myself. I really did this with a heart to try to help other people, maybe help other autistic people like me understand themselves, understand the world better, learn how to cope, whatever it is, help people around us understand us better, to help the world be more open and accepting and understanding. I use that word a lot here, I think, understanding. And so a lot of what I do takes a lot of effort and energy. I probably spend 4 to 6 hours on every video, even though most of them are I don't edit them very much. I don't cut them up. What you hear is what you get. What you see is mostly what you get. If I stumble over words, I don't usually edit that out. And so, but even in spite of that, it probably takes me about 4 to 6 hours to put out a video. But more than that is, I guess, the emotional energy that it takes, because I want to give. I want to not just say, oh, here's my life, this is me. I want to give people hope. I want to give people understanding. I want to give people education. I want to give whatever I might have to help in any way that I can. But beyond the time investment, because 4 to 6 hours in a week, it's not a big investment, but the emotional investment means that the time investment is much more, because trying to get myself ready to do these things, wow, I cannot really explain to you how much effort, how much energy, a lot of times how many tears. It's probably, I don't know, I'm an emotional person, so I probably am emotionally involved at the point of tears or in tears, I don't know, half the time. In the hours or days leading up to recording, just all this, and then afterwards, like, I get such a sense of exhilaration and excitement after having shared, because I feel so good. I feel like I've really accomplished something. But then I pay for it afterwards in just being really exhausted, because, like I said, it takes so much out of me to do this. But I wanted to sit down and share with you. I need to. But I thought maybe it's good to sit down and share like real life. Like when Michael isn't quite as up and peppy, and I don't know, maybe you don't notice that. I don't know if I'm less animated or less whatever I normally am. But even those times, like it's been an effort to get there. But this week, today, it's been even more so. I kind of found out at the last minute that stuff was going on, just with moving and everything that's been going on. And that I kind of like, oh, wow, I need to do this today. The backlog of videos I had is caught up to me. I no longer have that. I have to record. Here we are in Idaho. And so let's do it. And I just had nothing to give. And I thought, but it's interesting because my wife said that can be really helpful to people. And it's interesting because I had actually just yesterday read a story. I'm a big sports fan, if you're not aware of that. I love competition. I love the way sports and life intersect, and the opportunity to sort of see behind the scenes what people are like and the way people respond to situations, be they athletes, be they fans. I think it's just an amazingly interesting world to look at. As an update, I saw, we shared, I think it was the very first video that we did, we talked about a number of people, and one of the people we talked about was Drew Robinson, who attempted suicide and saved, and his life was saved. Basically, he stayed alive, lost his eye. He's a baseball player and was trying to go back and get into baseball. And I don't know what his future holds, but he actually made AAA, which is like just one step away from the major leagues. And so he's still pursuing his dream. And I just think that's neat when all the world collapses and you still pursue your dream. Drew Robinson's chasing his dream in baseball, but also he has a dream to help people based on what he's experienced. And it's the same for me. I really want to help people just to get through life, to be more successful. In the midst of feeling like I'm a failure, how can I take my struggles and my failures and turn them into successes by what I share? And so that's just kind of what I'm doing here. And this is a lot more real me. Not that I'm fake ever. It's never fake. I never want to be fake, but I guess it's just not so up. I'm not so knowing, hey, I want to share this and I want to give this. It's more like, hey, this is me. This is where I am. This is where I struggle. I'm here sitting down in front of the camera anyway. And we were talking about sports, and I kind of took a sidetrack on this Drew Robinson story, which is pretty cool. But I actually read yesterday a little bit of an article about a Formula One driver called, his name is Lando Norris. Formula One is maybe the highest level of sports car racing. And here's a young kid, he's 21. He broke in at 19. And in so many ways, you might look at him from a distance and people look and say, man, that kid's got everything. He's achieved his ultimate dream in motorsports at the age of 19. And he's, making good money, and he's doing what he's excited about, and all these kinds of things, right? And this kind of glamorous idea we have. And he shared, in the midst of the pandemic and in the midst of everything that was going on, he shared through his Twitch, through a number of stuff that he does. He does some video game streaming and things, but he shared just about his life, about who he was, about the struggles and stresses that he had, about his doubts about himself, especially in his first year, about a number of things. And it really helped people from what I read here. And I thought that was awesome, right? Because we think so often we have to be the greatest and the best in our lives, let alone in our lives to help people. And there's another young driver named of Max Verstappen, and he was kind of like, I would never do that. Why? It's this, maybe they called it old school way, but it's his statement was that, why would I show any weakness? And I think the idea was that if I show some weakness in some way, maybe someone can use that against me and all these things. And yeah, you know what? If you show weakness, there are people who will look to use that against you, to take advantage of your weakness, be it self-doubt, be it in a sporting event, some weakness where you're not as good at one thing or another, be it in a relationship when they see that you can be manipulated. There are unfortunately people, and quite a few people, who will look to take advantage of you. But your true friends, the true people who are around you, who really care about you, they are going to look and see how they can support you in those times. And just well-meaning people out there, I think, also feel, hey, I'm nervous, I'm scared to show my weakness because how people are going to take it, what they'll say, how they'll use it against me. But I think when you do that, in spite of the fact that, yeah, there's people who might try to make your life harder because of it, you will feel so much better about yourself when you open up, because I think you'll find that people really do care. Nobody wants to be around, and I didn't want to record a video of some mopey guy who's there, and there were tears earlier today. I'm not going to record in that state if I can at all avoid it, but I don't have to pretend that stuff never happens. And by opening up about who I really am, even in front of a camera to a bunch of people, I'm not sure who will watch this video. It just does something for my life. It helps me. And I get a sense of strength and encouragement from being able to talk about my weaknesses. Because I think if you only talk about your strengths, if you only can project your strengths, that's actually a very small person that has to do that. It's a very weak person that can only show off their success and money and fame and relationships or whatever it is. If all we can do is talk about how great we are or how great we were or the money we have or all these things, it's a sign that really that person is a weak person. Because the only way they can get by is by saying, hey, I'm so great, I'm so awesome, I'm better than you. But I think the real strong people are those who can say, you know what? I struggle. I'm hurting. There are times where life just beats me up, it chews me up and spits me out. But those people, they're not just there. It's not just moping and feeling sorry for yourself, but being honest about what's going on. And then I hope it's people like me who are doing things like this, where after everything that's gone on, we decide, you know what? I'm going to do this anyway. Even when I don't feel the best. Even when I'm having struggles. Even when I know I'm looking off a lot. I don't know if that's an autism thing or maybe just a vulnerability thing in some way, because I'm sharing with you, and I always share with you, and it's always real. But when I'm hurting, when I'm struggling, those times I think it's even harder to share. I feel even more vulnerable. So that's kind of the update. That's where I am. That's what's going on. I don't know how long we're going to be in this studio, so to speak, this temporary studio. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully we can find a place of our own to call home. As I said, our family member has been incredibly gracious and helpful. This is actually her bedroom that we have been in, and it's been awesome, but it's still a challenge in another environment, in somebody else's home, especially for me. But we're going to keep going, and I am going to do everything I can to continue to make these videos. Perhaps sometimes they'll be a lot more educational, teaching you about stuff that's going on or what I've learned or what I've seen. Perhaps sometimes they'll be more like this. They'll be a little bit more vloggy. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna carry the camera around and show you the food we're gonna eat or our trip to the, I'm not that kind of silly. I mean, if people like it, go ahead. I'm not necessarily saying you shouldn't, but to me that's just kind of silly. It's fluff. I'm not a fluff guy, let's put it that way. I'm a deep guy, and I like to share real and from the heart. And so I hope you heard that. I hope something here encouraged you. I hope something in here challenged you. I hope you didn't just say, well, man, this guy, what's the matter with him? Or this was boring. I hope that in opening up about my vulnerabilities and sharing about somebody else's vulnerabilities, who in sharing encouraged and helped people. I don't know if I finished that story, but Lando Norris, through opening up, through talking about this thing, he shared about how many people were touched and moved and whose lives improved, felt better about their lives because they realized, even people who look to have it all struggle. And so maybe my struggles don't mean that my life is not worth living. And so I hope that maybe in some way my sharing can do the same for you. And I encourage you, those times when you're down, don't just go broadcast. It's probably not the ordinary person to record a video of when they're struggling. But find those ways, find those friends, find those family members, find those people that you can be open to, that you can be the real you. Because in spite of the tears, in spite of the struggles, in spite of the fear that you will have, that what are they going to think, what are they going to feel, how are they going to respond to this, how are they going to react to this, in spite of all that, you'll find that if you choose wisely and carefully, as you share and as you find those friends and family members who care about you, who want to listen, who want to help, man, your life will feel so much more fulfilled. You'll feel so much less alone, and you'll have so much more confidence and strength to help, again, make this world a better place, like I hope these videos in some small way are doing. Well, thanks for joining me. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time. Who knows what will happen? Who knows what we'll talk about? But until then, take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.